Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a little different than what we normally do, but we've taken on this big project before we leave for Florida, and we are actually restoring Thor's childhood tapes. Now most of them were moldy, like over half were moldy tapes.
They were left in a crawl space, and unfortunately they look pretty bad. And up in the corner we'll pop up a few pictures of the videotapes and how bad they were. You'll see them when we start ripping them.
And so we just wanted to show you our process of saving the memories, because it's been a fun process, but it's been a hard one. Now this process will apply to moldy tapes,
and well-loved tapes,
which will take a little bit longer, but it'll also apply to tapes that weren't watched or were in good condition.
In good condition, sometimes you don't even have to worry about the cleaning, but the head cleaning will still apply if the tape's in good shape, because they still leave a little bit of gunk on the heads of the VCR.
So obviously you're going to need a VCR. You want one with an HDMI port, which you also have to
if you have the HDMI out, these VCRs are the best ones with the VCR and the DVD player combined, because they are used to convert to the DVDs for DVD players, and they're able to do that because they have an analog to digital converter in them already.
Which we'll go into more specifics at the end of the video of what VCR we have, you know, what to look for in a VCR. Now, we started the process using the Vidbox, and we ended up going over to the Elgato. And like I said, we'll go into more detail about that at the end of the video. So one of the first things you're going to do when you start this process is to actually take the top off of your VCR. Our VCR, it's off all the time just because of the amount of times he has to take the lid off with how many videos he does.
I might not even know where the screws are. Honestly, I got to look for them and find them.
Yeah, that's where.
So how many screws are there normally in a VCR?
Normally there's about 4. So we've got a screw here, and then you've got screws here and here, and then
this one right here,
and that one up there.
This one has 5 screws.
Oh, 5. Sorry, this one has 5. And another screw over here. So different VCRs will vary. But as you will see in the process, having this off is actually really important to cleaning the tapes and cleaning the heads, the visual and the audio head. And so, I don't know how many tapes you guys are doing, but it's just not worth it to put the top on with screws all the time.
Usually
just put the screws in a safe spot.
Usually the older VCRs have a lower amount of screws. Mine only had about 3 or 4.
He plays with tech like his daddy.
Yes, I do.
All right, well, on to the restoration. So the rest about what you're about to see was actually recorded a while ago, but I wanted to make sure you understood kind of how I did it. So this right here this cotton ball's a little smaller. I ran out of the big backpack that I was using just recently. And you don't want it to be dripping wet before you start the rip of your tape. You want this to be solidly wet, but I would even let that sit and dry out for a second. But then you take and you wrap it around. Make sure that you don't have any ridges towards the edge, because you don't want to curl the top or bottom. When I had it a little too high on one side, it actually ended up getting bitten by the VCR. So you want to make sure that you keep that good and smooth. Otherwise the tape could be damaged by the VCR. And just keep in mind that the rest of this video is taken a few months ago, but all of it still applies and the cleaning techniques work great. And at the end, I'll show you the before and the after result between the original capture device and the new one.
Once you get the tape inserted, it's important not to put too much pressure. Too much pressure and it'll recognize there's some sort of impedance and it will actually stop fast forwarding. It's important to keep about equal pressure to the top and the bottom of the tape. You can see right in here all those white things going by. Those are the chunks of mold on the tape. This takes a little while, so speeding it up might be a good idea. And this being the first tape, with how many times it was watched, there's a good chance that the tape is dirtier than just the mold. Because the tape being exposed every single time, dirt will actually build up on the face of the tape and stop it from being able to be viewed as easily. So it may take more than just this one cleaning. But I'll show you the picture of what it looks like afterwards. I haven't tried to view it yet, just for the fact that tape's very, very, very dirty, so. It's very important to not get your fingers caught while you're doing this. You can see the tape starting to slow down. Gets a little bit sticky to the end of the tape, and so it'll slow down just for self-preservation, just to not damage the tape, which is a nice feature. Though I wish I had a manual control. You can see there's a fair bit of dirt on here, but the majority of the dirt ends up sitting down in here. So in between every cleaning, every viewing, I always go through, I clean the video head, try not to touch anything, clean the audio head here, and I make sure I clean everything. Different pegs, the roller wheels, anything that's going to be picking up this dirt. Just because you really want to make sure that you're not going to put anything back onto the tape after you're done. Wouldn't want to actually damage it worse than it already was. And so that's the basic cleaning process right there. And it's not a bad idea. Take a little bit of canned air. Knock out anything else that might be loose. So this part you really want to be careful, but you can see we ran it through once. It's looking a whole lot better. But taking these things apart isn't near as scary as you might think. Make sure you hang on to your screws. You want to be able to put the tape back together. But it's very important that it gets cleaned out properly, especially when there's mold or much dirt. Otherwise, it's just going to keep packing back in. It's funny, this one has a little bit of gunk on it. See? That's how much stuff was coming off when we were playing it through. Oh, I forgot a knife. Hey Patty, can I have a knife? So you can't exactly do 2 takes of this, so what you see is what you get. But you can see this big old chunk of moldy garbage here. Your knife's right up there. So the only reason I need this is just for across this label right here. Yeah. Thank you. Try and do that nicely. The sharper the knife, the easier it is, and the easier it'll be to read afterwards. So from there, I'm kind of working around the camera here, so be a little tougher. Freya's actually making a mess. If you can hear her talking, she's being a cutie. And so I use the 91%. I like stuff that evaporates quickly. The other stuff has too much water in it. But as you can see, it picks it up rather well. So you're not really going to be dealing with too much. Be very, very careful. These are all the memories and everything on here. So
not something you want to rush through. But right here, kind of harder to see, I'm sure. But you can see there's a lot of gunk, especially on this tape. You can see all those chunks. So I always like to make sure that I hit all of that. Like I said, one take, so you'll see even all my accidents here. I need to level the table just a little bit more. I don't have a proper desk. There's just not room in my house. And hopefully I can have an RV that actually has a proper desk. I actually had a couple tapes that had so much mold built up in these reels that, let's see how discolored that is. How it had so much mold built up on these reels that it actually started getting caught as it was coming off of the reel itself, and I actually had to take it apart multiple times in order to be able to play the tape through. So as you can see right here, there still is some specks and stuff, so a return trip will be necessary. For the moment, I'm just going to set that right there. In this housing, you can see all the mold all over here. So an extra light would probably be handy. But there is a lot. I like to keep it totally cleaned out. I'm not a professional. I'm just I hope a well-versed amateur. But it's up to you guys to decide. You can take everything apart and you can generally get an even better cleaning. Like in between here, these right here, they hook onto these to keep the tapes from just spinning around freely. Make sure if you take those out, you get them back in. There are multiple types of spring systems, but this right here pushes them out of the way. So make sure you get that hooked up properly, otherwise your tape might not function properly. I always like to make sure I take this out and clean it. There are different shapes and sizes. Different VHS tape manufacturers manufactured them all differently. As you can see, there's a little bit of mess around here. Life goes on around me here, as you can hear. So that's clean. I do like to take just a dab. Don't hit the tape with this at all, but just a light little spray. And I like to hit the inner edge right here on some of the older tapes just to make it spin in there a little easier. That keeps it from having that super long slowdown, because I don't want to keep alcohol against the magnetic strips either. So you want to make sure that you have all that looking nice. So putting it back in, that's a very, very challenging thing. I like to make sure I'm using the clear parts, because I wouldn't want to use the actual tape itself. Then right here I pull this back in order to string this back around a little bit more, just like so. You can hear that. And from there, like that. And this is very important. I have not ripped this tape yet, so it's crucial that it's in good shape, because any of these memories, if I destroy them, are lost forever. And so, like to do all the aesthetics too, just to make it look a little nicer. These come off actually really easily. So what you can do right there is this spring is on there. This comes off and it hooks right over on this side. So you can do that to take this off if it needs to be cleaned. Try to keep things tidy. You can see that definitely needed this. And I will be taking it apart one more time to clean this side once it's emptied. You do end up having to clean up wherever you're sitting afterwards. As you can see, then you got a tape put back together. And 5 screws isn't bad, easy enough. Clean up that screw hole there. There we go. Not at the moment, buddy. I'm working on something.
We're not going outside right now.
I always tighten down the first one just to make sure I've got everything placed right. It's more of a personal preference. It's not like it's a wheel, but I like to do crisscross. And there you go. You can see that that looks a whole lot better. And now it's time to clean the underside as we go back. Sometimes you have to make 2 or 3 passes depending on the age of the tape, the condition of it, and how long it's been sitting for. So let's do the next part. Alright, so we got the tape, and this is moistened with the alcohol like I showed. Remember, you want it moist, you don't want it wet. Then you come right here on the underside. Be very careful. You're right next to a spinning head. You don't want to bump that. You can't really see much right there. No? This part's one of the more awkward parts. Different VCRs will have different exposed points where you can do this to clean this. And remember, you got to watch your height, make sure that you're in full contact, flat against the top and the bottom. And you don't want it to hit anything where it's going to damage the tape itself. And this literally is home movies, stuff that's important that I cannot get back. Agnar, please don't bump me, buddy. I've got 5 kids, so getting bumped is always a danger. I've done over 20 tapes so far this way. But normally I do it down on the desk. I just wanted better lighting so you could actually see what was going on. That's the reason I have it up by the window. If I had a desk, I would have probably got a desk lamp. It would have been a whole lot easier to get light on it. But if you look, you can see that this is pretty clean, but this is looking really nice. And generally, I do 1 pass forward, 1 pass back, and then the tape is watchable. We'll see if that's the case with this one, or if it's going to be multiple. I'm suspecting it'll probably... I won't have to take the tape apart multiple times, but I might have to go across the film 2 to 3 times in order to be able to get all the dirt and particles off. I'm hoping that it'll be good right after this. There's the VCR slowing it down. I'll speed it up here. You don't have to watch. So you don't have to watch the whole time. Almost there. Oh. And there's a bit. I don't know how well it'll come across this camera, but there is quite a bit. So from there we eject and we take the tape apart again. That much cleaner looking. Oh, and don't forget the cleaning in between. You don't want to put dirt back into the tape ever.
Generally speaking, I like to rewind, do the underside first and then the front, but I'm going to just do it this way. Just for sakes of time, and we will give it a watch preview as it is to see what kind of shape it's in. Voila. And so that's everything that the tape touches cleaned. Every so often, I mean, I'll clean the rest of it and up on the bottom, but you got to be careful your cotton ball get all torn up trying to clean up all these different little ridges, and don't leave any debris in. You don't want to leave any debris in that VCR. So, as you'll see in a second, the second teardown, it's generally pretty quick, easy, simple, and the tape is a whole lot cleaner. Homeschool going on in the background. And young babies. Okay. And I like to flip it over just because otherwise it falls apart in a kind of a weird manner if you flip it over the other way around. So I always take it apart with the clear windows up. So as you can see, it doesn't look near as bad. But I still pull these out just so I can get at this and clean here. So I already have this pre-moistened with the alcohol right here. Just that way I can hop right in. I know a lot of other videos I saw, they use like microfiber stuff and everything. I don't have a washer, so doing that is a little harder. I found cotton balls work pretty well. I haven't had any issues. Yeah. Like I said, this is all just one take. And like any other mold off that I see. Okay. And I always leave, I don't do the WD-40 twice because otherwise I fear that I'd get too close to the reels. It probably is a no-no, but it works well to get the tapes rolling, especially when they're gunky. Once again, I just like to pull these out. A lot of the times I'll actually take off some of these reels if they look like they're too dirty. Most of the time you can just kind of get them though. Picked up pretty much all that mold. I'll put these back in. And so like I said, you kind of want to use the clear spots that don't have any video on them. And weaving through right here. Tucked right in. Make sure that these are all the way engaged. And then you pull that through. Just basically the vice versa since the tape's on the other reel. As you can see. Back to normal operating. I don't really see too much I need to clean. If you're going to make it look all pretty, I'd probably do a lot more detail. But my focus is capturing these memories before they're deteriorated and gone. So.
center screw back in. And then the other 4. There are other holes that you can end up getting confused with. Every so often I'll drop them in the wrong hole. But nothing that you can't easily retrieve and put into the proper spot because it won't tighten into anything. See, works just as well if you go any particular order. And there we go. So, let's give this one a shot. See what it looks like. See if I need to do one more pass or not. Can I get any other stray dirt that I might see? Alright, the VCR is already clean. And so next, on the computer here, just to note, this is the device I've been using instead of the Vidbox. This device, it can record at 1080p and it's got an HDMI in along with a mic input. It's been working great and I don't have the issues you're about to actually see. The device is relatively small as well. You can see it's right down there, right here. This is the Elgato that's replaced the Vidbox, and the app, I gotta grab the mouse. The app is actually right up here, and you don't have near the issues that you did before. So like, that's the open, when I open it right there, make that full screen, and that's about all the interface that you really have to worry about. Nice record button, there isn't any of the headache that you're about to see. And as you can see, that is connected right into the VCR right now. So you can see the rest, and I'll show you the before and after between the two. This app gets, or not app, it's a program. This program gets a little bit touchy sometimes. You end up having to, see right here, the VCR is on, but, right there. The VCR is on, but it's not picking anything up. Vidbox, right here, it is connected, so every so often I just have to unplug it. You probably should hit that eject button. It does ask for the eject. Once we get that, plug back in. Once again, I don't recommend doing it like that. And then make sure all your connections are good and sturdy. And then on here, as you can see, there's no picture still, but it is picking it up. So what you do is just exit there, go right back into here. And now, it should be prepped. So I'm gonna take the tape, toss it over into the VCR. You can see that's popping up. And then click record just in case it'll be good. And we'll see what we got. So this one's from 1990 and it was molded.
Hi there.
And there's me.
How are you?
Peekaboo.
Hi there.
So I might do one more cleaning, but just for safety, I always like to get whatever rip I can get before I go too much into cleaning, just in case I make it worse, because like I said, I'm not a professional.
Hello, man of the house.
So yeah, I'm gonna pop it up on that TV, let it play through. There's my dad. And then I will get back and let you know if the second pass after cleaning one more time makes it look better.
Hi there.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Peekaboo.
Hi there. How you doing?
Is that automatic focusing?
What you doing, Thor? Hello, man of the house. How are you today? Hi there.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Peekaboo.
Hi there. How you doing?
Is that automatic focusing?
What you doing, Thor? Hello, man at the house. How are you today?
Like we just showed, the Vidbox works. It does its job, just not great. It's blocky, and
when you upscale it to 65 inches like our TV, it doesn't look as good as what we captured on the Elgato.
No, and so this is the Elgato, and it was a little bit more expensive.
I think we paid like $180 for it.
Yeah, it was like $180 to $200.
And the Vidbox we paid like $70 for. So it's significantly cheaper, but the Elgato definitely gets a better result.
But you get what you pay for. This one is so much easier to capture things on.
Oh yeah, we showed you the hiccups we dealt with the Vidbox.
He literally went from doing 1 videotape a day to 3.
Yeah, quite easily.
And so it sped up the process with all those tapes.
Definitely. And so whenever you get a VCR, it is important to remember to try to get the VCR with the HDMI out, because that does mean that there is the analog to digital like we were talking about. And this particular one we really like. It's got plenty of room. And just remember that some VCRs, like some of these newer ones...
This one actually won't work, and we don't know why. This one is actually the model that's a couple years older.
They're the same model number.
Same model number, but this one's just a couple of years newer.
And that one upscales to
and you
1080p.
Hook this up to the Elgato, and it doesn't recognize the device.
Yeah.
So we're not sure if it's a copyright issue or there's a way around it. If you know a way around it, please let us know in the comments.
Yeah, we spent good money on that one, but figure we'll give it to my parents. That way they can go back and watch the actual VHSs whenever they want.
So we really hope this video helped you, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. We absolutely love talking to you guys, and leave some tips and tricks for us if you have a better way of doing it. And remember to like, subscribe, and share. And remember, enjoy the memories. And remember to save them, because once they're gone, and there's no getting them back, because there are parts on these tapes with mold we can't get for the life of us, no matter how many rips we take. Once that mold gets to a certain point, it's done.
Yeah.
And we will see you next video.
Paul,
Oh, yeah?
what do you think you're doing vacuuming in the rain?
Vacuuming in the rain?
Yeah, it's raining.